What's up, Warport family? Your boy C-Dub here. This is the South Alabama post-game reaction. Thanks for turning us on and turning us up. Again, this is the reaction show, the final from Jordan-Hare Stadium. Auburn improves to 3-0 with a score of 31-15 over the South Alabama Jaguars. Auburn improves to 3-0. But that was underwhelming. I understand a lot of people's concerns. We actually had a live chat still going on from the halftime show, and I could see a lot of frustrated Auburn fans, particularly in the Green Day game, reacting to what they saw in the second half. Auburn went into the half up 28-9, only scored 3 more points the rest of the way. Held South Alabama to 6 points, but only scored 3 points. A bit underwhelming of a performance. I am joined by Ike Jones. Welcome, Ike, as well as Dylan Lark. I'm going to get you guys in here to get your initial reactions of what you saw in the game, starting with Ike. Ike, walk me through what you saw in the second half and your thoughts about the game overall.
Honestly, it was just, I think the second half, again, like you said it correctly, underwhelming. They didn't really do anything particularly impressive on offense, and the defense was kind of getting walked down there for a minute. Now, they were opportunistic in getting some stops there, including that final fumble recovery that they got, and then the stop there on the 4th down. But it just felt like it was a little too easy for South Alabama there in the second half. They had some multiple long drives there that you don't want to really see.
Dylan, talk to me. Your thoughts, and I know you're kind of remote, having challenges Wi-Fi. So if you got to jump off, let me know. But your thoughts of the game.
Yeah, I mean, very underwhelming. Wide receiver room made a couple of drops that you cannot have, especially next week. And the defense did not look like it improved that much. I mean, it was not. I cannot say this is a good win. I mean, this is a pretty disappointing win, because this is one that you needed a confidence booster going into next week with. There's a lot to talk about with this game.
One of the things that I will say is, I hope I didn't make the prediction, but this looked like one of those games to where going into a big matchup against an opponent, you look unimpressive. You're looking ahead, you don't want to show much, and you're holding guys out, which it appears as though all those 3 things were the case. No excuse for the lack of execution in certain phases of the game, which we'll speak more of. But I would have to imagine that Auburn looks better than they did today, given that, again, a few of your guys were held out. Damari Alston was held out of this game. You have some guys on defense who came out of the game. Crawford came out of the game. We hope he's okay. I don't know if we have word on his health status, but it just seems like Auburn was just trying to get out of here, out of week 3 with the win, and then worry about the rest next week. But your thoughts, Ike, in terms of what you hope to kind of see improvements on going into week 3. And obviously, Hugh Freeze is going to be asked about a few things that did not go well today.
Yeah, I mean, improvement-wise, of course, you want to be able to see your team do a little bit better in the pass defense specifically. I think they did well versus the run. Again, this is what I talked about at the half, right? South Alabama is a team that runs the ball. In this game, they had, 140 rush yards, which is a decent running day, right? Like, I don't want to take anything away from that. But I do think that they're a team that functions off of their ability to run the football. And Auburn did a really great job in the first half of holding that down. The second half, I don't know how to explain that. I definitely need to go back and watch the tape. But what I do want to say is it's a win, bro. Like, we got the dub. And as much, I am fine with learning while you win. Like, I would much rather be sitting here talking about a win where it's like, oh, that wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be, than talking about a loss. And now we have to figure out how we're going to recover from a loss to South Alabama. So definitely some things that need to be worked on, though, right? And again, if you're a coach, that puts you in a really great position to say you won, and it keeps your team humble.
One of the things I will point out is that one of the things I think is a positive is really Auburn's strength is run defense. The run defense actually looked good against this team, because although they gave up 140 yards on the ground, it was on 42 rush attempts. South Alabama averaged 3.3 yards a carry. That's good.
Exactly. Right. I know it doesn't feel great when you're watching it, but the yards per attempt meant that they had to do a lot of running, which they did, and they were going to run the ball a bunch. But that is kind of what I'm saying right there is you did a good job of making sure that you kept them honest in the way that they wanted to be able to move the football and force them to have to beat you through the air. Unfortunately, they did a good job of moving the ball through the air there in the second half.
And I think that Bishop, they got creative with Bishop Davenport in the run game because he started running the ball in the second half, particularly on third downs to advance the ball as well. So again, I believe Auburn's run defense really began to kind of settle in. And begin to lock up Kentrell Bullock. He only averaged 3.6 yards a carry. He was getting over 100 yards in each of his first 2 games this season. So Auburn runs defense was a positive. Rushing offense, Jeremiah Cobb goes over 100 yards again, 19 carries, 119 yards. Again, getting Damari Alston back next week, coupled with him, Auburn definitely has a 1-2 punch going into SEC play. Dylan, talk about Jeremiah Cobb and your thoughts about his progress.
Yeah, I loved Cobb in this game. I mean, 119 yards, back-to-back games getting 100 yards. And again, if the passing game is not where it needs to be, at least we know that Auburn has 2 running backs who can carry the load for the team. I loved what I saw from Cobb. And again, he was a kid out of Montgomery Academy, super stoked to see, coached by, a former Auburn quarterback in Jeremy Johnson. I've loved what I've seen of him this season thus far. And, with the healthy Damari Alston, we kind of saw what to see from them. But I think both of them had a touchdown in that Baylor game. Both of them had about 80 yards. So excited to see more of that, and hopefully helps up open up the passing game a little bit more with the double running backs kind of carrying that load.
To get back into it, I think that there are some things that does need to be worked on in the passing attack. That didn't leave me with warm fuzzies, particularly in the second half. Auburn came out looking a little bit flat in the second half. A little predictable. Again, Auburn was just looking very vanilla offensively, so they wasn't really trying to do much in the second half, which is a little bit disappointing because you did want, if South Alabama scores again, you have a tight game at this point. So you did want to see Auburn really put together a decent drive in the second half and punch the ball into the end zone. Talk to me about what you saw in the passing attack overall. The leading receiver in this game was Eric Singleton, 6 receptions for 65 yards. They used him a lot in this game.
Yeah, I think that the deal is still defenses are absolutely terrified of Auburn's ability to beat them over the top. And so they're making sure that they keep safeties back to try to prevent the long passes. And they're still really kind of being vanilla in the way that they're doing the execution of this pass stuff. They're running really base offense stuff and pass concepts. They're not trying to scheme guys open. It's just like, all right, cool, let's just go run out of this. And so I think Auburn can be better in that aspect. Jackson Arnold threw the ball well today. Again, let me say this. I said this at the half. Jackson Arnold threw the ball well today. He had quite a few drops, and he had quite a few situations where guys were not running the route that he thought that they were going to be running. So there is some execution thing that needs to get cleaned up. But I think overall, the pass game looked decent, but not good. Great.
I was happy with his decision. He made one bad decision, like one obvious bad decision all game long. That was that third down throw where he tried to hit the tight end there when he was not open. That was perhaps the most glaring bad decision that he made. But overall, I love Jackson Arnold's decision making, and even 2 of his incomplete passes was him throwing the ball out of bounds. Again, I would like to watch the film, Ike, and see if we can see if there were guys running open in open field and Jackson Arnold didn't see them. Again, those are things that, if that's the case, you would like to see that cleaned up going into SEC play. But overall, I was pleased with what Jackson Arnold was able to do. Now, before we get to the folks' comments, we do need to talk pass defense going into this game. It needs some work, but again, I do know that Auburn was down a couple of guys in the secondary. Guys are playing injured, but at the same time, for a team that's in South Alabama that actually statistically, from a completion percentage, Bishop Davenport completes a lot of his passes, but even still with that, there were some few busted plays there concerns there. Ike, Dylan, talk to me what your thoughts are about the pass defense. It's obviously in place of concern. I don't even know how you can explain this away. This has been a concern going back to week 1 against Baylor on the road.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Kyan Lee kind of have a bust in his coverage as well. And it's not something you want to see out of your starting DBs, let alone your guys who have to step up for an injury or whatnot. But yeah, I'm definitely going into this week. That's going to be the major matchup. That's the talking points is, can Auburn scheme away in just 5 days of practice? Can you scheme away to lock up John Mateer's ability to make those plays down the field? Because John Mateer has been looking on fire, despite who they've played. But again, so you look at Michigan, he had a field day versus Michigan's defense. Auburn's got to figure something out. You can't play soft. You can't find yourself looking in the backfield and let yourself get cooked in the secondary. You can't let that happen. If you do, you're going to be on John Mateer's highlight tape as he walks up in New York to get his Heisman Trophy.
Talk to me. What are your thoughts about the secondary play going into SEC play?
I still think that they're trying to find out who their guys are going to be. Jay Crawford again went down in this game there and didn't return. You've got some other guys that are banged up, injured. They're still trying to figure out who the guys are going to be that are going to be the consistent contributors there. And hopefully they've gotten from 3 games of tape in practice, you've decided these are going to be who are going to be the ones that are there for you. And we will see what happens going forward in this next game. Because like you said, Mateer's not going to go out there and he's going to off schedule you. He's going to do a lot of things that make you have to test the ability of your defense to stay disciplined. So there is a concern there, but I don't want to jump to beating them up after a win. I want to just enjoy the win a little bit.
Let's get to some of you guys' comments. We appreciate you guys joining us again. This is a reaction show, so we want to hear your thoughts, your reaction to what you saw in the game. Doing stuff with Daddy with the super chat says, after 3 games, it's opposite of what we thought preseason. Jackson is solid. Freeze is solid. Defense and receivers are mid. I don't know if I said the receivers overall are mid. This was a disappointing performance by the receivers overall today with certain drops. And again, you wasn't full strength with the receiving core. I don't know if I'm ready to say that the receivers are mid. They've had their moments throughout the season, but I think that's harsh. Guys, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know if you can say that after. I mean, Kim Coleman had that one bad drop on the slant, but he made up for that just a drive or two later when he made that grab while being interfered with for a touchdown. Eric Singleton has been playing great all season long.
Yeah.
Malcolm has been playing great.
Horatio's been dependable at times.
Yeah,
he had a drop today, but
drop. Everything else has been, solid 5+ yards a catch, and that's what you got Horatio Fields for. If you're going to call anything mid, I mean, the tight ends have been pretty mid, but again, Brandon Frazier hasn't really been getting those targets. It's been Preston Howard, and then I think Ryan Gee had a drop I think last week when he finally got in, but it's really just been Preston Howard that has been a letdown spot in the receiver room, and I mean the receivers have been great. It's all about just getting them the ball in open space and letting them do what they can. If anything, I'd probably say that the pass blocking has left a lot to be desired. I mean, you didn't really see it in this game because I think that's something that South Alabama hasn't really done well all season, but it's going to be something you're probably going to see a lot of next week.
Yeah. All right. Big homie Lander says, is it time to look for a new receiver coach next year?
No.
There you have it. Heavy with the super chat says, I'm going to hold off on my reactions until I've had a chance to digest this game a little bit. Blick dropped in to drop us a super chat. Appreciate you, man, for being here and hanging out with us. NH3425 says, my thought is Durkin got a lot of young guys experience for games down the road, but rotations of personnel will be limited next week. Still worried, though.
I mean, I think it's fair to have worry about your first SEC opponent and that opponent being Oklahoma. I don't think that that's crazy. Like when you go back and you look at predictions for the season, this is the stretch of games everybody was circling to say, can Auburn win one of them? So I don't know why it's crazy to think that Auburn might not win this one when it was one of the games that most people thought Auburn might not win before the season started. So yes, there's cause for worry for sure.
And I think what makes that worry even more, Ike, is that Oklahoma looks better at this point in the season than some people thought that they would. So I think that also adds to some people's worry as well. So again, I just don't think Auburn obviously didn't look strong today. Guys are out. Coaches still showing not much on offense, but I expect them to look a lot different next week. How much different remains to be seen. Do they look improved? Remains to be seen. I understand the concerns from a lot of fans, though. Jazzy Joe with the $100 super chat. Cam Coleman is still the man. Had a big scoring touchdown today. I was happy for Cam to get in the end zone. Thoughts on Cam Coleman's performance? Only didn't have a lot of targets in this game. He also had another catch where he made a guy miss and got upfield, almost got to the end zone. But thoughts on Cam Coleman's performance, guys?
Just worried about going to practice.
He played well. Other than the drop on the slant, I think he played well. And they missed the DPI in the end zone on him. Guy was holding his jersey the entire time. So yeah. Overall well, but he didn't get a lot of targets, right? So it's not as if they threw the ball to him 12 times and he only caught 2, right? They threw it to him 3 times and he caught 2. So yeah, or 4 times and he caught 2, but one of them again was a DPI, in my opinion. I have to go back and watch the film on it, but I feel pretty good about the look I had that he was getting held.
Sorry, I just blanked on my answer because I looked up and I saw Tennessee to score a 72-yard touchdown on Georgia. Which is insane to see happen live. But yeah, Cam Coleman has been great all season. Outside that's one drop, only thing I can really hold against him. He is a deep ball threat. He's a medium ball threat. And whenever he's able to get his hands on the ball, he is an all-round threat.
All right. Darius Lee, appreciate you being here with us, man. Says, how hard is it to get Cam Coleman the ball? He is more than a deep threat. The DBs in the first 3 looks more like a weakness than a strength. Thoughts on that, man? Auburn got him the ball last week against Ball State, but not so much this week.
I just think the game plan was to use Eric Singleton, and this week the game plan was to get the ball to Eric Singleton, and that's what they did. I don't think it's a difficulty in getting him the ball because when they focused on doing that in the last game, they did. And I get it, it's Ball State, but still, they got him the ball. And it's going to be difficult to get him the football in other games where defenses are better all the way around. And they're going to have to figure out ways to use the other receivers. And that's what they'll do. If the defenses try to take away one guy, okay, great. We'll get it to this other guy.
Darius Lee comes back and says, Jackson Arnold is solid, but the drops, oh my.
Yeah, the drops are going to make his completion percentage look worse than what it should be. But I think Jackson Arnold played well today. Again, the only pass that I will say is the one that you pointed out, where he tried to force the ball up to Howard and got him killed. That was a hospital ball for sure. But outside of that, I think he played well today.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Oh, I was going to say, it's been a good field general since those first couple games. So hopefully we can see a lot more of it against Oklahoma. I mean, I think you're going to see. I'll probably see a safer approach to his arm, just kind of letting him get comfortable.
I like how he's been managing the game so far through the season. I like his decision making. Again, I've been pleased with him. He's not a quarterback that's going to light up a secondary for 300, 400 yards in a game. He's not that type of guy, but he's going to be steady. He's going to keep the chains moving. He's someone that you can count on to advance the ball on 3rd and short, 4th and short. He's been good with running the offense. And guys, I have not been concerned about him taking care of the football and turning the ball over. The quarterback has not turned the ball over through 3 games in this season. Can we just thank the Lord for that? Yes,
for the blessing of your.
Let's talk about
Can you say that again?
Quarterback has not turned the ball over through 3 games in the season.
Man.
Wow.
The pain of watching and again, it's early in the season, man, but we were this early in the season last year and we're like, for real? So we just gonna keep throwing the ball to the other team. That's what are we doing this on purpose at this point?
By this time last season, we had what, 8 interceptions, 9 interceptions?
Yes.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Very bad. Very bad. So again, I have been pleased with that from Auburn's quarterback for sure, from Jackson Arnold. Let's get to some more comments here. NH3425 says Jared Smith had a key play of the game. War Damn Eagle. Yes, see, he has been really good as a freshman. I expect him to improve even more, but he's been amazing.
When I go look at this defensive film, I feel like I'm going to see a lot of Jared Smith flashing because I like the energy he brought too, man. Like sometimes when you're getting beat up front, guys get in the game and they're just like, no, I'm going to go make a play. And Jared Smith feels like a guy that's like, no, I'm going to go make a play right now, bro. And he just went out there and did it. He was getting the 1/3 down that Bishop Davenport escapes. It might've been 4th down, whatever it was. He escaped the pocket and ran for the 1st down. Smith was 100% getting held on that play. It's just him. Right. And I'm just like at this point in time, I feel like back-to-back weeks, the officials were like, all right, guys, we'll give him a couple, because that was an obvious DPI on the Cam Coleman one. It was an obvious DPI on the Singleton one where he was up in the air. DB was there super early. The DPI, the defensive pass interference that Auburn got on that other play, I feel like the receiver initiated that content. The DB got his head back around, almost picked the ball off. Like, I'm just like, can y'all stop just giving them stuff because they're getting beat, bro? Like, that's just this ain't how we supposed to officiate the game, man. So whatever, they won. I ain't gonna sit here and whatever, but they come on, man. Some of this stuff.
Yeah, was it Kinsley Falston who made that great play?
So.
And then just was not a PI.
Yeah. I didn't like that either. I didn't like that call. Tony Williams with the comment here, he says, yeah, Davenport's quick release and deadly accuracy are on point. That dude is good.
Listen, if we watched the film on this yesterday, he definitely has the ability. He's going to take care of the football for the most part. The interception that happened was off a tip pass. Now he almost threw another interception later in the game when they undercut the slant. But for the most part, he takes care of the football. He just throws it away if it's not there. He's accurate when he needs to be able to throw it down the field for the most part. He's a good quarterback. He uses his legs effectively. If he's still at South Alabama next year, I'd be surprised. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, I was going to say, which Big 12 team is going to take up the next G5 quarterback that does up an Auburn defense? Because Devin Dempierre over there looking like a Heisman front runner over there at Utah. So Bishop Davenport, look out. TCU.
Yeah. Ronte says all these DBs and we can't defend and can't pass ourselves. I think the jury's still out on whether or not Auburn can pass or can't pass. I would lean towards they can pass, but
142 yards today on 13 of 24. Again, he had like 4 or 5 drops in the game. So his stat line's not going to look as good as it should have been. So, respectfully, I hear you, but I don't know if I would go that far. Now, the DBs deserve all the criticism that they get.
I skipped past the DBs and talked about what I kind of pushed back on. But the DBs you can't defend. You can't not defend the DB play through 3 games this season. You got it. You got it. Ronte comes back and says, good thing for our DBs is Mateer passing. Good thing for our DBs.
He's saying that Mateer can't pass. So Mateer he's a mid-60s completion percentage guy, right? So like he kind of is who he is.
That's not bad.
It's decent, right? Like he's not like deadly accurate, but he's good. The issue that you're going to have with John Mateer, and we have plenty of time to talk Oklahoma. I know everybody is just so anxious to get to that game. We have plenty of time to talk Oklahoma. But the issue with him, again, is going to be the off-schedule stuff. His ability to extend plays is what's going to make it really difficult for Auburn's defense. So they have to figure out how to make sure they keep him bottled up.
All right. Jazzy with the $10 says, I need to see more Jared Smith and Falk on the field at the same time.
Yeah, Jared Smith has earned some playing time for sure. When they get into those third and long situations, I love the pass rush sets that they're doing with, Falk and Crawford and Smith out there. He's done a really great job as an interior pass rush guy. So yeah, I think he's going to see some time for sure.
Who would take over the D tackle spot? Because you can't take Keyron off the field to have that duo. Because Keyron now is the leading interception leader for Auburn.
So with the injury to Amaris, right? Amaris had the shoulder thing, so it likely is going to be Amaris that's going to be not there for that. And so I think you'll see a rotation that will include Falk, Jared Smith, and Keyron Crawford, and then you probably would have a guy like maybe Malik Blockton, who I think is a good interior pass rush guy, as the fourth guy on the field for those sorts of situations.
Yeah. Cameron Carr comes back. The comment says, the game went on how I expected. I predicted 31-24. I watched South Alabama previous games and worried about their passing on us. So Cameron Carr been watching some South Alabama, thought it was going to be a close game. So almost went about how you thought it was going to go.
I gave South Alabama 3 scores. I just thought that only one of them would be touchdowns. So,
yeah, I think I had 13 too. I think what was disappointing is that Auburn only put 3 points on the board. I think we were well on schedule for Auburn to get into the 40s. That did not happen. I think, I don't know. I know fans would still be concerned about the pass defense because, yes, that is concerning. But I don't think people will be as panicking as they would be if Auburn gets into the 40s, in my opinion. But anyway, Ronte comes back and says, stat-wise, Arnold looks like NFL Jalen Hurts a little. What say you guys?
I can't say that I keep up with Jalen Hurts stats to be able to say what the comparison would be there. But listen, I'll take Jalen Hurts' success. So if his stats equal to the Jalen Hurts success, then great. Let's do that.
I'll take it too. All right. Jazzy Joe comes back and says, what's awesome is we are talking about another QB and we aren't asking if he's coming here next year. We've improved for sure. It's the little things. That's funny, Jazzy. Again, some of the blessings that we're not experiencing through 3 games in this season. There's no quarterback controversy at this point. And Auburn's not scrambling, looking at to see, hey, let's see what QB number 2 is looking like. I think Auburn was starting the backup QB last year at this time. So for Auburn to still feel good about their QB through 3 games is good. And he hasn't looked shaky. That's been the thing. He's got his hands cut out. He's got his work cut out for him next week against a talented Oklahoma team. But going into SEC play, you have to feel good about Jackson Arnold and his decision making for sure.
And the good thing about the Oklahoma game, just added to that, they just had one of their star pass rushers get ejected for targeting in the second half. So won't have to deal with at least one pass rusher for the first half for him.
Yeah. Madison AU Chief says, still a cautious fan, but plenty of teams ranked ahead of us can't claim making it to 3-0 this season. War damn Eagle. Again, little things. It's the little things. So appreciate that comment, Madison. Stu Dies a Lot says, I've said it for years. You want to beat Auburn. You don't run, you throw. Our secondary is not great. OU going to score 40 on Auburn. I hope not. I haven't looked much at Oklahoma from a run standpoint, but I think Mateer is one of their best rushers on that team. Their
offensive line has not looked good early. They have not, for all the hype that Jaden Ott came in with this season, he didn't look good early. I don't know how much he's even been playing for them. So they don't have much of a running back room and offensive line to do that. So it has been mostly Mateer with both his arms and legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ott only has 5 carries for 6 yards. John Mateer is the leading rusher with 98 yards on the season. And their running backs, Ben Torrey, Blaylock, and Javante Barnes. But neither one of them combined, they're 99 yards.
All right. Let's get to some more comments here. Sloan Lowe, let's talk about this. Sloan Lowe says, I love Jackson is not afraid to lower his helmet and take the hit, but we need him to stay healthy. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, he's definitely a guy who does not shy away from contact. So hopefully he will do a better job of, and he's done a really good job of sliding a lot too, right? So like, I just think he's a guy who's like, look, man, if one of us got to get hit, I might as well deliver it rather than, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, you love that mentality, but you definitely want him to stay healthy.
I agree. It's really those 3rd and short, 4th and shorts where he gets really physical. Like those are the plays you worry about. But yeah, if he's in open field, typically he's going to get down and protect himself. So it's the short yardage that you have to be concerned there. Chris Jones with a $10 super chat says, hopefully the route trees and concepts for the receivers have been drastically vanilla purposefully. If not, we're in trouble. Thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah. I think it's just kind of the nature of the RPO offense, that they're running RPO style slants, fades, stop routes. It's the way that offense is designed. When they've tried to dial stuff up, they've had a good job of getting some guys open, but I don't think that they've tried to just like, oh, we're going to dial up a shot play here. I've only seen one, and that was the touchdown to Singleton in the last game.
Yeah. All right. I think we've covered. We can talk about. I guess not much to talk about in special teams. You saw.
Bryce Kane did a good job on his return.
He did.
Yeah, McPherson did a good job with the kicks he had.
34, I'll never not be appreciative of seeing Alex McPherson back on the field. Yeah, made a 34-yarder, and it's about as far as he can kick.
South Alabama didn't return any kicks on kickoffs, so that was positive to see. So no major news in terms of special teams. I think overall pleased with that. I think with Auburn, I just think they're happy to be 3-0 going into SEC play, and I think the coaching staff has been really looking forward to getting into SEC play and really competing and showing what they can do. I'm looking forward to seeing how Auburn looks. I don't expect them. I think this is one of those games where a team doesn't look impressive right before the big game, and then they look different when they get against that team. Not saying that that's the case with Auburn or they're just going to win because of what they showed here, but we've seen this a lot in college football where a team looks really mid the game before or the week before their big matchup or big conference game, and they get in that game and look like totally different. And so especially if Auburn returns a lot of guys that they held out in this game, I expect them to look a lot differently in key spots, and I expect better play in key spots. So that's something to keep mind of. Let's get to some more comments, guys. T.A. Irvin says, I think Auburn held back in this game. I agree with you, sir. At least I hope that's what Auburn did. Chris K says, we're 3-0 now. Where do we think we'll be now that we have 3 games under our wing? For me, I want to know what happens on the 4th game to truly know our full outlook. These next 2 games are going to be critical, in my opinion. You're going on the road, back-to-back road games against Oklahoma and Norman, and then you're going to College Station. I'm looking for Auburn, really, if Auburn's going to make a statement and make that run that a lot of fans are hoping Auburn makes, you split at least one of these 2 games coming up. Like I said, I thought beginning of the season, Texas A&M looked invincible. They have a tough game tonight on the road against Notre Dame. But Oklahoma has, in my opinion, looked a lot better than I expected them to be at this point in the season. So that does present present a very tough matchup. But if Auburn can split one of those two games, I like how Auburn sets up to finish this season. Guys got to stay healthy because that's a concern that guys are getting dinged up so early in the season. But if Auburn's man is able to stay healthy and come out of this stretch rather unscathed, you actually get a big win here or there. I like how Auburn shapes up the rest of the way. But thoughts, guys?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know that you know a ton about this team other than they have. I think, again, I understand that the name on the front of the jersey makes you say to yourself, oh, you should beat the crap out of this team. South Alabama is not a bad football team. And they're a team that did not go away versus Tulane, and Tulane is a team that people think can contend to be the G5 representative in the college football playoff. Did not go away versus that team. They didn't go away here today. They're not a bad football team, and Auburn won fairly comfortably again. And it didn't feel comfortable, right, but won fairly comfortably, especially considering some of the things that we've talked about with the drops. And so I understand being disappointed that it's not a blowout. But I don't understand acting as if this is a bad football team that you just beat.
Auburn with less talent barely ekes this game out. They barely eke this game out. So yes, to your point, Ike, I hear you. Again, a lot to clean up, but I think you take comfort in knowing that Auburn struggled at points and won comfortably still. Dylan, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's the Oklahoma game has always been the game to look at this season because, at the beginning of the year, you kind of, once the Baylor game happened, you're like, okay, well, this team does feel different. Ball State happened, and of course, this little hiccup game, it's not a bad win. It's still a quality win over a quality G5 opponent. It's just whenever you see that you over complicate the issues that you see on the field, but when you get past Oklahoma is going to be the game where we're going to be talking about who Auburn is identity-wise. And I think that's the game we're probably going to get the best visualization of what Auburn is offensively and defensively. So, I mean, I think the Oklahoma game, I would probably rank it more important of a game than the Georgia game is this year, which Georgia right now, down 21-7.
Tennessee going crazy in this first quarter, man. My goodness. 21-7. A lot of game left though, but
Aguilar's 14 for 14 for 200 yards.
He looks good. You're muted, Ike.
I was about to say Joey Aguilar is a guy who's playing better than I thought he would be early in the season, because I thought he was the turnover machine everybody says that Jackson Arnold was. Joey Aguilar actually was. So yeah, good for that young man, because
maybe you don't have to pay your quarterbacks that much money.
Hey, listen, they absolutely won that situation. Tennessee absolutely won that.
Nico somewhere saying,
God! It was an immediate reaction to them winning that too, because UCLA is 0-3.
Yeah, they got curbs, they got beat down against New Mexico at home. That's rough. That's rough. Shout out Devin Dampierre, week 1. Yeah, Tennessee definitely got the best of that situation. Mr. Gibson saying, in my opinion, best we've looked in a 3-game opening stretch since 2019.
Yeah, again,
that's easy to say. That's easy to say.
Again, I have to go back to the preseason expectations. I think when you win a game like you win with Baylor, people's expectations change, and they're like, "Oh, we could go to the Natty," and it's like, most of y'all didn't think this was a natty team. So why, I'm fine with the national championship standard being applied here, but I have to take you back to what you thought before the season started. And are they on pace for that right now? The answer for me is yes. This is exactly where I expected Auburn to be, 3-0 going into week 4, into a tough 3-game stretch here, where you're going to play 3 really good football teams. One that's not looking so hot today in Georgia, but still 3 really good football teams.
I would upgrade the 4-game stretch. I think Missouri's looked very good to start off.
But see, I'm talking about my preseason expectations. Oh, yeah. My expectation was 3-0 going into this stretch, and then 3 tough games. That Missouri team does look better, and Vanderbilt still looks good, right? So those games are not going to be gimme games at all.
Yeah. Jerome Marshall says, thinking about it, I don't think Hugh Freeze's offense is wide receiver friendly to the tune of 3+ ball dominant receivers.
That's interesting considering everybody said Hugh Freeze doesn't want to do anything but throw the football. So now all of a sudden wide receivers can't flourish in this offense. That's an interesting take considering what most people's opinion is of Hugh Freeze.
Yeah. Get some more of your comments here. Jackson Du Bois says, not that concerned. Didn't like the stalled offense after the forced fumble when we could have gone up 38-15 and put a bow on it. I agree with this comment. Great comment, Jackson. And I think that's when my disappointment began to show is that, okay, Auburn needs to put together a strong drive, stalled out and kicked the field goal prior to that. But you would think with the momentum switch that Auburn puts a score and really takes the win out of South Alabama. You give the ball right back to them after a 3 and out, and they're still fighting. They're still clawing. And I think the way this team is built, they're going to continue to claw and fight because I just think this is the makings of a really good team. They just don't lay down for anyone. Yeah. And I think South Alabama is going to do well in the Sun Belt this year, just my personal opinion. I think they're a really good quality team, and I think they're going to give a lot of teams fits just by how they play football and how physical they are.
I agree. I agree with this. That drive, I think, was the most disappointing drive of the game for me from Auburn, where it was just like, yo, you got the stop you needed, and you got a turnover, put a drive together, flip the field, that sort of thing, and it just didn't happen in that. So, and again, the third down throw to Howard, where he almost got him decapitated, not a good thing.
Yeah. Greg Wheatley says, I was expecting 8-5 season, still doable, but the defense have to get much better. Defense has to get much better. I still think Auburn has a lot in front of them to even win 9 games. Like, they're still doing really well. And again, Auburn hasn't lost. So everything is in front of Auburn still in this season. I know this is, again, not the prettiest game. Disappointed that Auburn didn't pull away and beat them or cover the way a lot of people hoped that they would. But there was a part of me that felt like this is going to be one of those games where Auburn's in control, but doesn't really beat down a team the way we would want them to see or feel good going into SEC play. I don't know if you know if Mike is expected to jump on, is he?
He has not messaged me to say. I sent him the link, so I don't know. The press conference is definitely over, so I'm not sure.
Okay. You want to just hang on and see if he pops up for a few more minutes? What you want to do?
Let me try to contact him real quick. I'll get back with y'all.
Okay. I will grab some other comments, Dylan, but as I look for some, any other thoughts you have, sir?
None that I can think of that we haven't already talked about. I mean, I just got to get the passing defense straightened away. Overall, I mean, at some point, a win is a win when it's an opponent like this. Auburn did not stress me out at any point in this game, which is a rarity at this point of the season. Usually, I'm, grabbing the paper bag and breathing into it by this point of the season. So, can't be upset about 3 double-digit point wins in a row. But again, the Oklahoma game is going to be a big, big talking point, which that Georgia game becomes a lot more interesting with how Tennessee is kind of schemed for it with their more fast-paced, down-the-field passing attack that Josh Heupel has become very famous for during his time at Tennessee. But they just got to figure some things out. And, I mean, offensively, if I hope that it's true that Auburn has been holding back the whole time, just kind of just trying to finding ways and hopefully we get to see, them not hold back throughout the remainder of the schedule. But yeah, I can't be too mad about 3-0 start.
Can be. There's a lot to improve on, but hopefully Auburn gets healthier next week, and we'll get to see Auburn really begin to establish an identity. Guys begin to settle into Auburn gets to settle into what they like to do best, what they feel comfortable doing, being able to take advantage of things. Again, a lot of teams are anticipating Auburn to blow the doors off of them in the passing attack. We hope to see more in the passing attack as you get into SEC play. This coaching staff has been able to get the 3 games, not showing a whole lot offensively. So I'm excited to see what's in store for Auburn going into week 4. That's all we got for now, guys. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Listen, you can check us out. Weekend Tailgate, 1 p.m. on Sunday, 1 p.m. Central Time. We'll hop in and give our takes, our thoughts. Give us a few hours. We'll give you some time to let you know our thoughts about this game, final thoughts on this matchup going into SEC play. Dylan, let the people know how they can find you and when's your next live, sir, or what's your next show?
Of course, you can check me out at the College Loop right here on YouTube. Getting so very close to 1,000. I think we're at the either 30 away or somewhere close to that. We'll be talking about this game tomorrow at 6 p.m. CST, giving my thoughts on how Auburn performed, of course, giving my grades and also announcing my players of the game.
Guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Before you get out of here, smash that like button before you get out of here. We appreciate you. Like and subscribe, become a member, join the Green Name Gang, even gift a membership. We appreciate you. You can find us on social media. That is Instagram, X, and IG. We're TW Report on TikTok. Signing off, as always, War Eagle. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is the post game.
War Eagle.